Spain, and from round 4 to round 5 of the 2012 FF1M Championship. Previously, Nico Rosberg took his second win of the season, partly thanks to another mechanically induced retirement from Lewis Hamilton, who had been leading before suspension failure put him out early in the race. As a result, Rosberg holds an 18-point lead over Sebastian Vettel. Sounds very comfortable. And those 40 points accrued by Rosberg are also the 40 points that Sean Connery Motors have accrued, and they hold a 15-point lead over Shakenberg. Here is the Circuit de Catalunya, very flowing, aside from maybe 1 or 2 corners, 66 laps and 2 stops expected. Last season saw Jenson Button take the win for LeBlanc, the French team. This year Button is racing for AJ, and he starts 10th for the Cosworth-engined AJ with the Gulf livery. Very nice Gulf livery, it has to be said. Pole number 4 of the season for Nico Rosberg, who really is on a roll. He's joined by probable championship rival Lewis Hamilton, providing his car doesn't break down again. Daniel Ricciardo takes a superb 3rd, ahead of home hero Fernando Alonso, who starts 4th. Raikkonen, who had an engine failure, starts 5th. That was back in Imola. And Kobayashi starts 6th, proving that Pedersen's have made a step forward from their Paul Ricard test. Completing the top 10, Vettel, Di Grassi, Grosjean and Button. There's Bruno Senna in 11th, ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg had a rather big collision with Robert Kubica. They start together on the grid. That might be a bit scary. Good effort from Horizon, taking row 8. Sandberg ahead of Robert Wickens. But GRM's struggling, as is Pastor Maldonado and Jaime Alguersuari. Those 4 drivers make the final 4 positions of the grid. So here we go, and once again it is wet, and it says 65 laps. But it's go, and Rosberg gets a good start from pole position, but Hamilton gets an even better start than that, and he looks as if he has taken the lead. It's a very long run down to turn 1. What on earth is going to happen here? Daniel Ricciardo is going for the lead. He's outbraking Hamilton into turn 1. He's done that, and Fernando Alonso is trying to get second position off of him, but not quite. But they are side by side going into turn 3, and Alonso looks as if, well, he's still side by side. This is going to be a battle of the brakes going into turn number 4, but it's Daniel Ricciardo who leads for Tornado. They've all got through safely so far in the pouring rain of Barcelona, and now into the turn 5 hairpin. I believe it's called Seat, but don't count on me for that one. And there's an FJR side by side with Rosberg, I think that is. Rosberg's had a bit of a poor start. Drop down to 5th, make that 4th behind Raikkonen. They're still side by side, look at that. They've been side by side since the start of the race, but Rosberg hangs on to 4th position. And completing the top 8, Di Grassi, Kobayashi and Button, they've had good starts. Well, Kobayashi hasn't, but Button has. He's gained 2 positions. Going round the long left of Lacaisha hairpin. If they're using this layout, then it must be 65 laps. And Daniel Ricciardo has got Lewis Hamilton all over his gearbox. Will Ricciardo lead a lap for the first time in his career? Let's find out as they exit the final corner. Everyone's on full wets. You can see the blue marking on the tyre. It is Ricciardo who leads, but he has got Hamilton alongside him going into the first corner, the fast right-left chicane, and Hamilton outbrakes him into the lead. So, new race leader immediately after the first lap, on the second lap in fact, as they go around the long sweeper of turn 3. Now, can Hamilton's car withstand the reliability? Off goes Alonso! Fernando Alonso off the track! He made a breakthrough at Imola last time with a second position, but he's not done his cause for points and podium much good with that off. He's braving it out round the outside of one of the Mitchells, going round turn 4. Meanwhile, Kimi Raikkonen is all over the back of Nico Rosberg as we go through the Wörth corner, and now up into Campsa. The 2 Tornadoes leading, and Rosberg now in 3rd position, but with Raikkonen all over his back. Into the Kaisha, and Raikkonen tags the back of Rosberg, locks up, and Kimi spins. And Rosberg spins as well. This is going to move Di Grassi up into 3rd. Can Rosberg rejoin? Yes, he can. He's got the momentum out of the gravel. But that's going to do neither of those drivers any good. Off has gone Pedersen of Bruno Senna. That's at the penultimate corner. So it's very tricky at the moment, and we're only on lap 3. Now, who have we got here? We've got Kobayashi versus Di Grassi for third position. So Kobayashi has taken the position, and now Grosjean has got ahead of the Brazilian as well. That's fourth position for the FJR driver. Now Jenson Button's on the move. This is all action so far, as Hamilton holds a very comfortable lead of 2.6 seconds over Ricciardo. And this battle for third position now, with Grosjean thinking about having a go at Kobayashi into the first corner, but not quite making that stick. Now Nico Hülkenberg is looking to challenge the AJ Cosworth of Button. Cozza, in Yorkshire terms. Now he's got a recovering Alonso all over his back. Off the track has gone. Is that Di Grassi? I think it's Di Grassi who has gone off. Rejoined in 10th position, making a very similar mistake to Alonso. Conditions very, very challenging. Off has gone Sergio Perez as well now. This is carnage so far. Need more wet races. That is the recipe for a good race. Now Grosjean is challenging Kobayashi into the Kaisha hairpin. That's third position for the FJR driver. Now, can he do anything about the two tornadoes up front? Who are we on board with here now? Is this Maldonado, who is all over the back of... It's Alonso versus Button. That's for 6th position as they go across the line to start lap 5. Hamilton extending his lead is 3.5 seconds now over his Australian teammate. And Tobias, the team boss, was very disappointed with the result of Imola after Hamilton's suspension failure. And some action going on here between an AJ and what looks like a Horizon. That must be Webber. Might have been Sam Bird. Button, is he going to have an off at the penultimate corner? Yes, he is, and that is a very pathetic spin. He'll be right at the back for sure. 13th position, make that 14th, 15th, 16th, dropping like a stone. And we are looking at Rosberg, who is going off the track, is he? No, it's Di Grassi once again. Di Grassi going off. Very similar helmet to Rosberg. That could get a bit confusing. Now we are having a look at a GRM all over the back of a Horizon. I think this must be Sebastian Buemi versus Robert Wickens. Don't count on me for that one. It was Sam Bird, and Sam Bird has gone off the track for a little bit. Is that recovering Raikkonen taking Sam Bird, who's going to have another spin at the final corner this time? Indeed it is. Jenson Button recovering as well, getting past Sergio Perez. Someone who is having a bit of an anonymous race is Sebastian Vettel down in 8th position. He didn't really make much progress off the start, and he is running in 8th. 21 seconds behind Hamilton. And there's a fierce battle developing between an AJ and a spinning AJ for that matter. That's Mark Webber versus Lucas Di Grassi. It was all looking so good for Di Grassi, running up in 3rd briefly, but now he's just being bullied. And the rain is really pelting down at Barcelona. Nico Hülkenberg versus Kobayashi for 4th position. Now this is an interesting battle. 2 works cars, Pedersen BMW and Mitchell Toyota. And both have appeared to improve since the test at Paul Ricard. And now both are running 4th and 5th, partly due to inclement conditions and the fact that many are struggling to keep it on track. But it's been a good race so far, and we're on lap 9 between Kobayashi versus Hülkenberg. And just behind them is another works car. It's the Mercedes Works engined Willows Racing of Fernando Alonso, and just behind him is a works Ferrari of Nico Rosberg. A battle for the works between 4th through to 7th, but it's 3 customer teams who are leading the race so far. The 2 Tornadoes running the customer Ferrari engine of Hamilton and Ricciardo 1st and 2nd. They are on lap 10 now, once Ricciardo crosses the line. Some 9.2 seconds behind Hamilton, and Grosjean in the customer Honda engined FJR only 7/10 behind. So Grosjean on the move, still looking for his first ever FF1M podium. Let's watch this battle between Kobayashi and Hülkenberg into turn 1. That's a spinning Kobayashi out of 4th position. That was a mistake. There was no contact between him and Hülkenberg, but this has now put Alonso on the move. 5th position, but it's Hulkenberg who assumes 4th. Rosberg 6 is now right behind this lot as well. And just behind them, Vettel and Kubica separated by just 1/10 of a second. So Vettel appearing to be coming under pressure from Kubica. So not shaping up to be a good race for Shake and Bake so far. Meanwhile, we look at this battle for 4th position between Hulkenberg, Alonso and Rosberg. Two drivers who finished in the top 2 at Imola, so far running 5th and 6th. Reversed between Alonso and Rosberg, as Alonso is ahead, and they had a pretty good battle last time out, mostly in the pit stops, and Alonso very nearly took the lead from Rosberg, but not quite. Kubica has passed Vettel for 7th position, whilst I was giving a bit of information about the previous race, and Ricciardo is defending very heavily from Romain Grosjean going into turn 1. They were separated by less than 1/10 as they crossed the line. So Grosjean looks as if he's got the quicker car at the moment, partly because he has a little bit less fuel than Ricciardo, so he needs to make the overtake stick as soon as possible, because he's only got 9 laps, and if everyone's doing 2 stops, then Grosjean really needs to make this count, as he is surely pitting very early. Could be within the next 5 or 6 laps, so expect him in at about lap 16-17. How much fuel has Ricciardo got? I think it is still in the double digits so far, but we'll have a better look once we get a head-on shot of the Australian. Can Grosjean make a move going into the Lacaisha hairpin? And Ricciardo taking the middle line. Ooh, that is close. Grosjean nearly tagging the back of the Tornado. And meanwhile, the battle for 5th is raging between Alonso and Rosberg. They were separated by just 2/10 as they crossed the line to start that lap. And Hamilton starts lap number 12, pulling out quite a big gap over these two now, 10 seconds. So far, it's looking good for Hamilton to take only his 2nd win of the season so far. And he was nearly 2 seconds quicker than these two on the end of that lap. Grosjean, I don't think he can do it into turn 1. Very close to the back of the Tornado there. And not quite managing it. Rosberg's dropped a lot of time behind Alonso on that lap. He was 3 seconds slower. Still keeping it on the track though, nonetheless. And off the track has gone Ricciardo! That is 2nd position for Romain Grosjean. That looked like a mistake. We may see a replay of it. If we don't, then I'm going to assume that that was a mistake. Meanwhile, here is Grosjean's teammate Kimi Räikkönen, who is going to have a spin at the penultimate corner, and that is a very awkward place. He may not actually rejoin. Is this going to be retirement number 4 for Räikkönen? Is De Grassi going to have his own off at the penultimate corner? Indeed he is. And Räikkönen's struggling to rejoin. I think De Grassi should be alright. Now they're going to be embroiled in a battle over the very, very low positions. And it's still raining at Barcelona. We're having a look at Perez getting past a GRM going into turn 1. Jenson Button against a GRM as well. This must be Buemi. It could be Verne. But it is Buemi, who would drop down to 9th position. Into the pits comes Lewis Hamilton from the lead. And surely full wets are the only option here because it's still chucking it down. Full wets indeed. And how long is the pit stop? 6.2, that is a nice stop. But he's being balked into the pits. That's Kimi Räikkönen. Ironic, seeing as Grosjean is the one who is in 2nd position. Conspiracy theory much? But it should still be a comfortable lead for Hamilton once he rejoins. And once the first pit stops are out of the way. Rejoining 2nd behind Nico Hulkenberg. Leading for the Pedersen. Grosjean has just pitted, but he is going to have an off of his own at the penultimate corner. That is careless from the French Swissman. Should rejoin though. No news about whether Räikkönen rejoined from that spin. Hamilton versus Hulkenberg for the lead, but it's a bit of a false lead because Hulkenberg should be due in the pits very soon. And brand new full wets certainly look to be the big advantage here, because Hamilton is immediately all over the back of the Mitchell. Rounding the penultimate corner, Hulkenberg diving into the pits for his first stop, as is Sam Bird, who is nearly a lap down from this lot. Here's Adrian Sutil in 8th position, challenging Sebastian Vettel, who has just made a pit stop, going into turn 4, and that was quite easily done for Sutil. Has Vettel got a bit of a problem, or is he decided to go to the end of the race on this fuel load? That's what it looked like from the readout. Hulkenberg rejoining from his pit stop behind Alonso, that's for 3rd position. The order has certainly been shaken up by the multiple spins of many drivers. Hulkenberg has tagged the back of Alonso going into turn 1, and both are going to have spins. That is Fernando Alonso in the gravel, and Hulkenberg less deeply into the gravel. Who is going to rejoin first out of this lot? Let's find out. And Alonso's struggling a little bit, and where is he going? He's turning left, but the car decided to spin round to the right. That was very strange. And this is... that's Jaime Alguersuari, or is it Hulkenberg once again? Who knows, but here's Roman Grosjean, who rejoined way down the order. That was a costly error. And look at the rain coming down. It is absolutely pouring. As Hamilton starts lap number 26 from the lead. It is a Tornado 1-2 at the moment. How far back is Ricciardo? Half a minute. Is that a shake and bake spinning? It's Perez and Alguersuari. That's for 7th position, and that position has now been occupied by Jenson Button. This has been a manic race so far. I'm enjoying this. And this is Alguersuari versus Perez round 2. Looks like it. As they go into the Verth corner. As Hamilton starts a new lap, lap number 29. He had a half-minute lead over Ricciardo as he started the previous lap. It's now 32 seconds. Hamilton could lap the entire field by the end of this race. It's Nico Rosberg in 3rd position, so he has recovered after his earlier shenanigans. And Perez has now got Alguersuari for 8th position. So that's the battle for the final point. Alguersuari coming back at him into the Bank Sabadell hairpin. This is a nice battle between two Latin drivers. Alguersuari looking to impress in front of his home crowd, and Perez looking to impress in front of the crowd that speaks his language. Meanwhile, Adrian Sutil has quietly moved up into 5th position, which is a very good performance from him, considering he started 18th. And Kubica as well, 4th position for him. And he started 13th, so the Andrew F1's working very well in the race. And Perez looking more comfortable in 8th position now. Here's Alguersuari going through turn 3. He has got Nico Hulkenberg, who was challenging for a podium with Fernando Alonso, but did tag the back of the Willows, and now he runs in 10th position. And we are looking at Mark Webber tagging the back of what looks like Jean-Eric Verne. That's for 11th position, and Verne's in the gravel, as is Webber. Webber will rejoin first, once he finds a clear gap in the traffic. Jenson Button versus Sebastian Vettel for 6th position. Look at this. The AJ is working quite well in the wet. For whatever reason, Vettel is struggling. He has taken on a lot of fuel, which sounds like the wrong strategy for me. Now we have a look at Kimi Raikkonen, looking to make a move on one of the horizons. Think that is Sam Bird as they cross the line. Not sure what position this is for. Everyone's still on full wets because the rain is just not stopping. That's 12th position for the FJR driver. So while the FJRs look quite quick, their drivers look a bit clumsy. This is Raikkonen. Is this on the same driver, actually? This is a replay of the same thing, or is this a different... No, it's just the same move. Not sure why we're looking at it again, but let's marvel it. Pretty clinical in the end, to be honest. Lap 31, Lewis Hamilton leads with a massive margin over Daniel Ricciardo. Expecting it to be around 35 seconds once the Australian crosses the line. Eventually, and Raikkonen's just gone off the track at turn 3. He's having another spin. And that's all his hard work of gaining 12th position gone. Here's Pastor Maldonado running in 14th. He's going through turn 1. This looks like a mechanical problem this time, and as As a result of that, he petulantly slams into the wall and rips a wheel as a result. Willows will not be impressed with that. Unsurprisingly dropping out of the order because he is retiring. Ricciardo is 34.7 seconds behind his teammate, and Rosberg in third position. It's confirmed as an engine failure for Maldonado, plus a bit of suspension damage. Who we're looking at here? Perez versus Hülkenberg for 8th position. So Schleckenbeck still struggling in these conditions. Vettel is now 7th, Perez 8th. At least they're keeping it on the road, mostly in the case of Perez. Through the penultimate corner they go, and they're about to start their 32nd lap. Perez made a bit of a mistake at the final corner, had a big wiggle, and Hülkenberg trying to get up alongside him. There's some grunt in that shake and bake Honda. Wouldn't surprise me if they were taking a dry setup. That's probably why they're quick in a straight line and slow everywhere else. And it's clearly holding up the Mitchell driver. He has got ahead of him, I think, and now Hülkenberg is looking at the back of Vettel for 7th position. Vettel fat with fuel, and everyone else probably too stopping. No way around the outside into turn 4, so Hülkenberg will have to wait at least another few corners, unless he has a go into this left-hand hairpin. Let's see the exit. Looked alright for Vettel, but Hülkenberg sensibly not trying the lunge into the turn 5 hairpin. I believe it's called Seat. This left-hand sweeper before the Wirth corner. Even in the rain you can see the brake discs glowing, that's interesting. And Hamilton now holds a near 40-second lead over his teammate. In fact, just coming out of camp, so there's a Mitchell behind Hülkenberg. That'll be Al-Jaswari. Hülkenberg up the inside now as they go into Lacaisha, and that's 7th position for the Mitchell driver. So Vettel dropping back like a stone. I expect him to lose a few more positions, but at least for his sake, he is fueled to the end of the race. As they go through the penultimate corner, keeping it on the track, Nico Hülkenberg. And coming out of the final corner, still keeping it on the track. So he's in 7th position, but he is over 1 minute behind. 1 minute 24 to be exact. And Hamilton should be coming up quite soon behind him. Now the two shake and bakes are going at it for 7th position. Perez is the quicker driver at the moment. He's got Grosjean behind him though. And Perez has taken 7th position. Perez due in the pits this lap actually, so quite sensible that Vettel doesn't fight that one off too much. Now he's got Romain Grosjean, who has just tagged him, and spinning for both of them. Sloppy race for FJR. Be careful, boys. And where's Grosjean going to rejoin? 15th. That is yet another costly. He's actually just made a pit stop. Now he's a lap down, at least, behind Rosberg. Grosjean unlapping himself from Rosberg. Careful you don't take him out. But he has gained that lap back almost. Rosberg trying to frighten him into staying behind him. Shades of Verstappen and Ocon. Now Rosberg into the pits for his 2nd pit stop. He's running in 2nd position at this point. I imagine Ricciardo had made a pit stop. And yeah, Rosberg down to 3rd now. That's more full wets going on at the Sean Connery Motors. Rain might have eased off now, but it's hard to tell from this angle. Kubica has now just moved up into 3rd position, but Andy's going to the end of the race, so Kubica has jumped Rosberg. That's unexpected. So that battle with Grosjean has actually cost Rosberg a position on track, and now Grosjean has just passed the horizon for 14th position. Everyone has made 2 stops aside from Vettel, who has made just the 1 for whatever reason. This is Rosberg versus Kubica for 3rd position now. Rosberg on the slightly younger tyres. But it's been a great performance from the Andrew F1s, with their drivers now 3rd and 5th. Meanwhile, Sebastian Buemi is coming to the pits from 18th position. He was briefly running in the top 10 earlier on before all the carnage took shape. Now Rosberg is alongside Kubica into the first corner, and that was just on the straight, didn't even need to wait for the braking zone. So Rosberg up to third position for the Sean Connery Motors. Look at this gaggle of cars here. There's two shake and bakes in there, and a spinning Perez. And Vettel was another one, the horizon, and I think Hamilton in the lead, who is amongst the back markers. Jaime Suarez moved up into 9th position. Now he's all over the back of Vettel, who surely is struggling on his full wets. Now they go into the Bank Sabadell hairpin, which spells the last slow corner of the lap before the fast couple of corners in the dry, but in the wet they are nothing like as fast as they are in the dry. Coming out the final corner, I think Suarez might be having a very good chance of moving up into 8th position. Yep, he's alongside. Nico Rosberg's out of the race. That is 3rd position gone for the Sean Connery Motors. Kubica moves up into 3rd, Suttel moves up to 4th, and now this lot are fighting over 7th. Once they sort themselves out at turn 1, Jaime Suarez takes a position, which will be 7th position. So both Mitchells are now running in the 6th and 7th. We're just about to pass Rosberg. Suarez just gone off the track at turn 3, undoing all his hard work. That is just careless. Utterly careless. And he's going to drop way down the order. That promotes Vettel back into 7th, Perez up into 8th, and I believe Grosjean... No, that's 10th position for Grosjean. It might be one of the Horizons that's moved up into 9th position. Or is it Di Grassi? I think it's Di Grassi that's moved up into 9th. Meanwhile, Perez has just overtaken Vettel for 7th. And now Di Grassi looks as if he's going to do the same thing. Now coming out the final corner, it is Kimi Raikkonen in 9th position. Now he's looking in to get into the action. He's going to get alongside the struggling Vettel for 8th position going into turn 1. Is he alongside enough? In fact, that is Di Grassi, who is a lap down on this lot after his chaotic race. So Raikkonen has now moved him into the points, unbelievably. Who we're looking at? Kobayashi in 14th. He's had a bit of a messy race. A very unfortunate race as well. Being tagged by Hülkenberg. And now he runs in 14th position. He was running in 14th, but he's just gone flying off the track and made it as far as the barriers. He is out of the race. Now what we're looking at here, we're looking at Horizon holding up Di Grassi. That's Sam Bird versus... This is a battle for 17th position, and it's frightened Bird off the road. That's at the entry of turn 3. Very strange place to go off. Rejoining the track. No problems there. And here's someone else who's had a bit of an unfortunate race. Also tagged by one of the Mitchells. Fernando Alonso. It was on Hülkenberg again, actually. In fact, Kobayashi spun off earlier under pressure from Hülkenberg, and then Hülkenberg tagged Alonso. Must get the facts right. But this is going to be 10th position for Alonso. Careful you don't hit the horizon on the way. And that was overtaking Suarez. So Spaniard on Spaniard as they go through turn 3. And unlike everyone else that has overtaken people into turn 1, Alonso doesn't go off this time. So there's Suarez, who is alongside. And now is the two FJRs battling for the final point. That's going to be interesting. As they go... Now they go side by side into turn 1. Grosjean is the quicker driver at the moment. And that is 8th position for the French Swissman. But really, it could have been so much more because both drivers have performed quite poorly. We were looking at Hülkenberg. This is for 4th position. Suttel coming under pressure from Hülkenberg. As they go into the Verth corner. Brake discs still glowing on the Mitchell. And as they go through camp, so Hülkenberg needs a good run coming out of here. And then he can challenge going into the braking zone. It's like driving into a grey wall. Trying the outside. Now ducking back on the inside, he's tagged him. Hülkenberg is going to have a spin. That is out of 5th position. He'll rejoin, and Sutter lucky to get away with that one without spinning, so that was well controlled from the German in the Andrew F1. And still in 5th position, Nico Hülkenberg. Just been lapped by Hamilton. Who's going off now? It's Perez out of 7th position. And, nearly sliding into De Grassi, nearly sliding into the FGR. And the other FGR just avoids him. That was a scary moment. Now Adrian Sutter in 4th position, going around turn 3. Is he going to have an off? He's going to have an off as well. And keeping it together. Well done. But now Hülkenberg is going to take that 4th position in the end. So the two Germans still at it. Almost unknown from the action and unknown from the chaos is Lewis Hamilton, who has pretty much just dominated it from start to finish. Kubica's just started his final lap, while Hamilton takes his 2nd win of the season. Thoroughly deserved after his previous 2 races and mechanical problems. And it's a Tornado 1-2 as well. Daniel Ricciardo comes home 2nd. Superb result for Tornado. And superb result as well for Kubica in 3rd position, keeping it on the road where everyone fell off. Started 13th as well, great effort. Hülkenberg 4th, Sutter 5th after their battle. Button a well-deserved 6th after keeping it on the road for most of it. And the 2 FGRs, 7th and 8th, probably don't deserve the points, but 3 points for the FGR team nonetheless. And key retirements, and Vettel actually retired from the end with a transmission failure. Nico Rosberg holds a 10-point lead from Lewis Hamilton, who shoots up the order past Vettel, and Kubica assumes 4th position ahead of the 2 FJRs, both on 13 points each, but Raikkonen ahead of Grosjean due to the fact that he won at Long Beach. And Tornado take the lead of the Constructors' Championship after Sean Connery Motors failed to score. Just what Tornado needed. FJR are 3rd in the championship, tying with Andrew F1, but FJR are ahead because Raikkonen won a race. Shake and Bake slipped down to 5th position. And that sums up the Spanish Grand Prix. Next up we will be heading to the Riviera for the tight and twisty Monaco Grand Prix.